I'm very excited because we're about to head inside and present our 10-year business plan to people who use the building, who are interested in the building, volunteers, councillors. Everybody's come here tonight to find out what this place is going to look like in 10 years' time. It's very exciting.
My name's Jacob and I am the Managing Director of Guiseley Theatre, so I sit on the board of directors, but I also am here every day doing whatever needs doing. And I'm very aware that I don't want this to be an evening of me monologuing to you guys and boring you all to death, talking about something that I'm incredibly passionate about. So I'm going to talk through our plan for the next 10 years, and then at the end there'll be opportunity for questions and answers. And then after that, you'll see that there's some tables at the back where we've basically got some questions. We want to know your answers to them. And then once we've answered the questions, we've done the Q&A, the bar will be open downstairs and we can all have a merry Saturday night. So, on your chairs you will find three things. There is our spring What's On guide, our summer What's On guide, and what we are calling the plan. Now, this document is our plan for the next 10 years. It's quite a clear plan for the next 3 years, then it gets a little bit vaguer for like 3 to 5, and then the 10 is like, this is where we want to be. So, we are Guiseley CIC, so Guiseley CIC stands for Community Interest Company, and we are here to look after the building. We currently hold the lease for the building, and that is on a 6-year lease. We as directors and our advisory board have come up with our mission and our vision. I'm going to read those very briefly now. So our mission is to unite a passionate, creative and diverse community through celebrating, preserving and making use of the Guiseley Theatre building. So, this is the Guiseley Theatre building, and the Guiseley Theatre Company is separate from the building. They're two separate. Guiseley Theatre CIC holds the lease for Guiseley Theatre, but the building is currently owned by Leeds City Council and will remain so. I'll come on to that later. Our vision is that Guiseley Theatre is a vibrant cultural hub that enriches our community through its heritage, artistic expression and inclusive engagement, whilst ensuring that the Guiseley Theatre building remains for the use of the inhabitants of Guiseley forever. Now, you will see that phrase throughout the booklets that you've got on your knees there, for the use of the inhabitants of Guiseley forever, and that is because in 1867, Matthew William Taunton was a local MP. He declared the building open. He stood on that stage there and declared that this building was for the use of the inhabitants of Guiseley forever. Now, in the 1980s, the council wanted to shut the building, and Guiseley Amateur Operatic Society used that phrase there for the use of the inhabitants of Guiseley forever to say, nope, this is not your building to close, it is ours, it's for the use of the inhabitants of Guiseley forever. And that is absolutely what we want to continue 158 years later. It is Guiseley's Theatre. There should be an apostrophe and an S between those two words. So, we're very excited about this next 10 years. We've put a lot of work, it feels like 10 years worth of work into writing this plan, but now we are at the point where we're ready for it to happen. So to give you a bit of context, it was a Victorian building, yes, 1867. It's always been the heart of the community. It was opened as a town hall. It never really functioned as a town hall. During the wars, it was a hospital, auxiliary hospital. And when I'm doing tours with schools that come in, there's a beautiful photo in the bar downstairs of all the nurses sat on their doorstep. And the story that goes with that photo is the nurses would collect all the dirty washing from the hospital, they would put it in a basket outside, and then the community would come, collect that washing, take it home, wash it, iron it, bring it back for the nurses the next day. So that is an example of this building being at the heart of the community. It was taken over by the Amdram Group in the 80s, and it's currently on a rolling 6-year lease. So every 6 years, Leeds City Council go, do you still want Guiseley Theatre? And we go, yes please. And that has been going since 1982, I think. Then, fast forward to 2019, that is when Guiseley Theatre CIC was formed. We recognised that the building needed to progress. And the only way forward to do that was to create a legal structure, a CIC, Community Interest Company, and we formed in 2019 with big plans for 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen. So, rather than just sit around waiting for things to open up again, we came in, we decorated as much as we possibly could, try and give it a bit of a new lease of life. We put more facilities downstairs, and generally just started giving that the building a little bit more life to it. So why now? Why are we doing this now, rather than 2021, when COVID was supposedly done and dusted? Because we're ready now. COVID, I know people go on about COVID, but it really was quite a colossal event for anybody in the theatre world, in hospitality, and we are only just now, I think November was when we considered ourselves recovered from COVID, November just gone. We've spent a lot of time getting the right people in the right room, getting everybody on board with our vision, and now we feel, right, we are well equipped to take on this building for more than 6 years, and we are ready for the next 10 years. So the reason I'm going on about that lease for 6 years is we are in the process, or about to start the process with Leeds City Council to try and negotiate a 100-year lease, or a 99-year lease. It's called Community Asset Transfer. So if in the PowerPoint or in the book you see CAT, it refers to Community Asset Transfer. It's a long lease. We are trying to get a lease for the building so that we can do some proper work. When we're applying for big money, like I'm talking hundreds of thousands into the millions, often funders say you've got to have the building for at least 25 years. So we're aiming for 99 years, so that we've got a good chunk of time to get stuff done, basically. So that's where we're at now, and a brief history. What am I talking about next? Okay, our company aims. So as directors, the board of directors has been made up of people who've been involved in the building since the 80s, people who work in the industry, theatre industry, who are performers, people who use the building regularly, and we have come together and decided that Guiseley Theatre CIC exists to do these things here. So we want to celebrate the history, the heritage of Guiseley Theatre and its people. We want to ensure that the Guiseley Theatre building remains a community asset for the use of the inhabitants of Guiseley forever. To develop the theatre building to achieve its maximum potential, I always say this building's a diamond in the rough. There is so much potential in this building, we just need the funds to be able to do it. Seek to attract national companies to Guiseley Theatre, to become an enabling organisation. So we recognise that a lot of the people who use Guiseley Theatre are really passionate about their own cause. We are not equipped to act upon that cause, but they are. So we are enabling them to do what they are passionate about. And a fantastic example of that, for example, is Good Grief Guiseley. They are a bereavement support group. I'm not equipped to provide support to bereaved people, but Good Grief Guiseley absolutely is. And we enable them by giving them the space and the place to develop their community and the resources to do that. Number 6, create opportunities for local people. I'm very passionate about keeping things local, supporting local performers, supporting local work, and local can be within the LS20 postcode, sometimes even as far as the LS19 postcode. But also Yorkshire. I'm very, very passionate about using performers for when we're creating work, using performers from Yorkshire, because it's more than just London. And number 7, to be a home for community organisations. So, like Good Grief Guiseley, consider Guiseley Theatre their home. I also run a company called Cotswold. We consider Guiseley Theatre our home. There are so many different organisations that consider this building to be their home and theirs, and it is all about the inhabitants of Guiseley using this building and considering it a place for them. I'm going to fast forward to what this building may look like in 10 years' time, and then I'm going to talk about how we can start that, and we'll start working our way through. So in 2035, in 10 years' time, this building will be a busy, well-used and well-equipped building. I would say we are already a busy building and we are already a well-used building. I would say we're not quite yet a well-equipped building. So we're heading in the right direction. We will be regionally and nationally respected. So at the moment, we find that people that live in Guiseley don't even know about Guiseley Theatre. We obviously want to change that. We would like there to be a recognition of the building in our region. Similar to level, and if you guys are theatre goers, there was Square Chapel in Halifax. They are a well-noted venue. That is a similar level to what we would like to be. Surrounded by a supportive and invested community. I really don't want us to be just, okay, we're Guiseley Theatre, here's some shows, come and see the shows. We want the community to be invested in it. It is their building, it is Guiseley's theatre for the use of the inhabitants of Guiseley forever. It runs all the way through it. We want to be fully accessible. The biggest bane of my life at the moment is that Guiseley Theatre is not an accessible building. You cannot get into the building step-free. Unless we put out a ramp for you. There is a stair lift if you can't handle the stairs. It's generally speaking not an accessible building. We want to be fully accessible by 2035. We want to extend the building to incorporate good facilities. I'll come on to this later down the line, and there's big plans for you at the back as well. But essentially, we've got Guiseley Theatre here, and then at the back of the building, we've got the same amount of land as is here. So we want to utilise that and build a modern building. We want to be net zero. We want to be net zero because that is absolutely the right thing to be doing. We have also got the ambition of being an off-grid theatre, which, as far as I can tell, doesn't exist. So we would be the first venue to be off-grid, and I'll come on to that as well. We want to be a place of learning. We want people to come here and learn and go away with more skills. We want to have a wide staff and volunteer team. Our team is forever growing, but it's still not big enough. And we want to have a varied programme, events of theatre, comedy and music. Essentially, this building has got so much potential in its walls, in the fabric of it, but also in the people that are using the building. And this document, this 10-year plan, is all about unleashing that potential and making sure that we do achieve the maximum potential by 2030, not 2020. So, how do we get there? Well, we are already starting. It's been a really interesting process writing this 10-year plan because it has taken a long time to write this plan, and we, through various drafts, have been like, okay, we're going to do this, 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 and this, and this. And then when we next come to it, like, oh, hang on, we've already done that, we've already done that, we've already done that. We're already acting on this plan. We're here, we're going for it. This year, our main focus is on the outside of the building. I'll come on to that. Business plan submitted to the Leeds City Council to start negotiations for a community asset transfer. That's the CAT. We're aiming for 99 years so that we can get some serious money to start unlocking that potential. We are in the process now of applying for planning permissions for a permanent access ramp, new signage, new lighting, new display screens, and we hope to install them in August. So I am aware that even now the building is open and it is used. If you walk past the building, it looks closed because it's not adequately lit. You can park in the Leisure Centre car park across the road and not realise that Guiseley Theatre is here. I'm hoping that 2025 will change that with some new signage and some new lighting. I'm hoping that 2025 will see an access ramp installed on the main doors of Guiseley Theatre, which means that at least the ground floor will be accessible. Small steps. The issue we're having at the moment is that where we want to build the ramp is a public pavement. Our lease ends on the threshold. Rather excitingly, we're also aiming to open a cafe downstairs come September, so that will be open 7 days a week, so the building will be a busy building. Throughout the month we have about 95 groups that use the spaces downstairs, and a lot of those groups have people who go to Costa before they come, or there's parents waiting for children to finish a class. I think a cafe is a fantastic opportunity for people to sit down, pay for a coffee, have a look through our What's On guides. It's a place for people to meet, for people, creative people to come and have meetings. I'm hoping that this will unlock, it will just become a much more sociable building, and only good can come from that, I'm sure. And we're also expanding our staff and volunteer teams. So earlier in the year we expanded the staff. We, for the first time, we've moved to paid front of house team. We've got a front of house manager and what we call course stewards supporting our volunteers who are also working front of house. That all happened at the start of this year, and we're about to launch into a volunteer recruitment drive and rethinking how we do our volunteer training. So it's a pretty jam-packed year. When it came to January, I sent an email around to all the directors and said, right, this is the plan for this year, and it was pretty full on, and so far, we're pretty much to schedule. Our plans for this year come with a price tag, so I'll quickly talk through that. A ramp is going to cost about £10,000, and that's not including planning permission fees, which I thought were like 30 quid. Turns out they are not. We've got signage and lighting, that's going to cost around £8,000. I'm hoping, I've identified a fund from the Theatre Trust, you can't really read that, they might be able to fund about 7,500 of that, which is great. However, that is a very competitive fund, we might not get it. A new front door, forgot to mention that. Our doors that you walk through this evening, when we've got an event on, they are wedged open and they remain open, and in the middle of winter, it's freezing cold. It's all right now when it's starting to warm up a little bit, but during the winter, you can heat the building all day for a performance in the evening, and as soon as you open those doors, it's absolutely freezing. With the ramp, we're aiming to get a beautiful glass, power-assisted, accessible door so that people can open the door, walk through it, and crucially, close it behind them. That's £6,500 we're going to be applying to the Leeds City Council Wellbeing Fund. Who knows if we'll get that again, it's a hope. And display screens, this is the dream if we manage this. You'll notice we've got two poster boards on the outside of the building. Currently we can just advertise 2 events at a time. We want to put digital screens up there so that we can advertise everything. I've got a backlog of about 30 posters trying to make it up onto that, so everybody goes up for about 3 days and then take it back down. All of that comes to just shy of 30 grand, £29,250. I think we're going to have to fundraise a minimum of £15,000. So, after today, if you are on social media, I guarantee you that by the end of the week, you'll be sick of my voice popping up and going, hi, we're fundraising for Guys in Theatre. It is going to be our big focus for between now and August to try and raise £15,000. Starting, well now, it'll be tomorrow, if you feel inclined to support our cause, www.guysoftheatre.org/2025. We've set up 3 ways for you to donate to us. Bank transfer, nice and easy. Leaves your account, goes into our account. Fantastic. PayPal, we've set up what we call continual giving. So I think, let me just check, yes, £5. If you sign up through PayPal, it will send us £5 a month until you decide that should no longer happen. So we call that continual giving, and you can donate without having to think about it. That's the dream. We're also setting up Just Giving because people like to see that little purple bar get higher and higher and higher. £15,000, I think is achievable. With £15,000 we can certainly put a ramp in, and we can certainly change the sign on the front to one that is not rotting and falling apart. We're also putting a call out for businesses and other organisations. If they want to donate a substantial amount, we can, I don't know, name it the Morrison's Ramp or something. Anybody work at Morrison's here? No. I'll get on to the community champion. Throughout your booklet, you will see a couple of black and white photos. There's one behind this image here. And just at the bottom there, this is taken in the 80s, I think just after the Amdram Group take over the building, and I've put the Guys in Theatre sign up. That is the same sign, there's just less of it up there now. The building had not changed drastically at all since 1867. We've got the original plans that the architects used to build the building, and nothing's changed, basically. We've put in a couple of doors, but it is still a Victorian building, and we're still limited by that Victorian infrastructure. And this is the first step to making it a 21st century building. Okay, I'm going to introduce Sarah to the stage. Sarah is one of our... Yes! Sarah's going to talk through our board, our advisory panel, our current staffing, and where we hope to see our staffing in the future. Do you need me, or shall I take a seat? Lovely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you, okay. Oh, too much there we go. Lovely. Over to Sarah!
So, hopefully most of you know me, but I'm Sarah Gibson, one of the board of directors. There's actually 3 of us. Actually, can I turn this off? Can you hear me without it? Right, there's 3 of us in the board of directors. We're all volunteers. The board of directors is made up of myself, Jacob and Maddie. You'll probably see Jacob everywhere, making lots of noise. Maddie you might see here on a weekend with the children, and I'm usually behind the bar. That's what you'll find us. So we make up the board of directors. There's just 3 of us at the minute, and we are all volunteers. And we've also got a lovely advisory panel, which help us stay on the straight and narrow. We've got our lovely Mia, who's a lawyer, who's joined us recently. Well, I was going to say that. Hi, thanks, Mia. And she's a lawyer, and she advises on all things we need to know. We've got Paul, keeping Jacob in check with all the money and finances. Really important, obviously, this theatre costs a lot of money. It's an old building. The money just goes, and we've got to be really careful with how we spend it, and obviously we really need to earn as much as we can. We've also got Catherine Littlewood, which lots of you know, who was one of the board, but now she's part of our advisory panel, keeping us again on the straight and narrow. She's really good at risk analysis, lots of experience managing directing. In your book, you'll find on page 10 lots of more information about us, a bit more information, but I won't go into that now. So this is our current staffing structure. So at the top we've got the board of directors and the advisory panel. So we're the ones that make the decisions, all voluntarily. And then we've got managing director, which Jacob's doing that role. And he is part-time. None of our staffing is full-time. We're all part-time staff we've got. It's really stretched at the moment, our staffing, but we do really well with what we've got. So Jacob oversees the building, the management of the building, and all things to do with Rising Theatre for the people. We have Kerry, the lovely Kerry, who's our administrator. She works 10 hours a week, so again, part-time, answering all the emails, any questions you've got, always there, friendly face. We've got our new front of house managers, which I think are all here today. So we've got Daniel, who I've just noticed is there. We've got Hayley over there. And we've also got Tilly, who is definitely here, because I've seen her. Back. So we've got 3 front of house managers, which has really eased the load a bit more on volunteers, which means they're responsible on an ad hoc basis in a way, 0 contract hours, because that's all we can manage at the moment, signing up for different shows as we go throughout the week, so we're just a little less stretched the board of directors and the advisory panel really. We also have a fantastic cleaning team. Alex is here. We have both again part-time, 2 hours a day, who do a great job. It's a Victorian building, there is a lot to keep up with here. And then we have a marketing lead, which is Lucy, who is also here, back with Velvet, who handles all our publicity and all our advertising to try and get people in the building. And then we also have our core stewards, and we've got Owen on the front row here, ready. And we've got some more, Molly, and we've got Maria, who also are our core stewards. We also have, although, yeah, both think, oh, Damien's not here, but we've got Daniel, who's our sort of tech guy, but also volunteering in every aspect of the building as well. So that's where we currently are. Very small team, but obviously lots of things to do. Including that is our fantastic volunteers. The building wouldn't run without the volunteers. We wouldn't be able to put on the shows without our volunteers. And we have lots of people supporting us on every show, but also throughout, you know, looking at bids, fundraising for us. We've got a great team of fundraising us, trying to raise money for that ramp, putting on discos, doing other things, just trying to make us a bit more visible. So if we just go on to what we want to do, this is where we want to be. So this is our aspirational staffing. So say we've got the board of directors and the advisory panel making those decisions, and then we want to encompass an artistic director, which hopefully Jacob will fulfill that role, and we'll have all the roles behind that. Hopefully then we're just spreading the load a lot more. So this is where we really want to be, and we want to have these funded engagement roles to try and get the money in to pay for these roles. So we've got engagement management. Engagement? Oh, That was going a different way, wasn't it? Engagement manager. Trying to get people in the building, trying to get different companies engaged in what we do, both during the day and at night. A marketing lead, so increasing the hours. We've not enough to do the job we need to do to get people in. Increasing the hours on all these things. Operations manager, at the minute Jacob does all this on 20 hours, it's not enough. We need to split that load so we can concentrate on getting the right people, the right shows, the right things in the building. Technical manager, as I said, Daniel does a lot of this, and Damien as well assists him, the brilliant volunteers, and also, but we need more. We need more time for that. We also need the right equipment to make that the best it can be. Administrator, so Kerry, 10 hours a week is not enough to run this building as well. So we want to increase that, but we want it fully funded. We don't want to keep taking it from other bits we want to spend on the theatre. And then from out of this, we want an outreach coordinator who's looking for different things. So maybe going into schools to try and get schools in to use the buildings, putting on shows, trying to fund things like Iris, and trying to get more people in who might not get that opportunity to work in the building, but just grabbing different sources. A front of house manager, increasing that so we can spread the load again. And then course stewards under that. At the moment we've got 3 front of house and 3 course stewards that always are here. There's always somebody here to take that core responsibility on board, as well as our lovely volunteers. We're not going to be able to do it without those volunteers. Clean team, we obviously want more people, more cleaners in. It takes a lot every time we've got an event, we want to clean up after it. That's a big thing we need to push. Cafe manager. The cafe is going to be really exciting in September. We're obviously going to need to fund staff for that to make it worthwhile and to make it run smoothly. And cafe team. And then volunteer coordinator. Currently, Kerry, Jacob, they run that, and the volunteers have a spreadsheet to sign up for, but obviously we need to communicate with them even more. So having somebody dedicated to that will make that really worthwhile. So that is our vision. That's where we want to be. We need the adequate staffing to bring the building on. We need enough money to do that. But we want to serve back to the community, give back to the community, have all the local people use us, and also try and get involved in another way.
First of all, just to say, I think it's really bold and brave that Jacob's done this. You know, he really wanted a business plan is usually something that's just done as an administrative task, and then is hidden away, but you were really determined, weren't you, to have this as a public event and to share it. And then to actually stand here, I'm a much more behind the scenes person anyway, but to stand here for us to say, this is what we want to do, you know, we don't know what the future holds, but it's absolutely, it does make you feel a bit vulnerable, doesn't it? But actually, I think it's great that we're here and we're sharing these ideas and opening up for your thoughts later on. Okay, so first of all, community engagement then. So I'll go with my long-winded explanation and then I'll come back to what AI's reduced that to. So these are the things that I'm really excited about with the vision actually. So over the next 10 years we're aiming to open up every aspect of the theatre to a wider range of people. Not just the shows we present, but how decisions are made and who gets to shape the theatre and what it does. So one part of this vision is about the programming. So we want to invite more people into the process of deciding what's on our stages. This could include taking groups to festivals like Edinburgh to help select shows that could excite, stretch and inspire audiences here, giving people new experiences and broadening our programme. See what I mean about wording? There's a lot of words there. We also want to make it much easier for artists and creatives to access our spaces, to rehearse, test new ideas, run scratch nights. We've had some suggestions when we were interviewing the latest round of staff, which was really exciting and encouraging actually, and share early stage work. It's about creating a living, breathing environment where new work can be developed with the community and not just for them. So this way of working will mean local people, audiences and artists have a real role in shaping the future of the theatre, not just as spectators but as co-creators. It's a bit of a trendy word at the moment in the arts world, but there's a genuine intention for that here. Of course, to make this happen we need investment, which has probably been mentioned already. We're actively looking at support from charitable trusts and foundations to help fund a dedicated post and budget to kickstart this shift, this way of working, opening up the programming and the decision making. And once we get the community asset transfer, that does actually open up a whole load of opportunities with charitable trusts and foundations, because it's less of a risk to invest in a building that is owned by the building itself, by the company itself. So for me, this really captures the heart of where we're heading, moving from a theatre for people to a theatre by and with people. So I'll tell you, all of that, AI reduced to, this is about unlocking the theatre for everyone, making sure it's shaped by and with the community, not just for them. It's a learning theatre, right? This is another of the ambitions that I'm really, really excited about. It's the idea of becoming a learning theatre. So through conversations with our volunteers, especially those aged 18 to 35, we've identified a real appetite for learning and development opportunities. But it's not just younger volunteers. I mean, we're volunteers too, and I don't fit that age bracket, sadly. But working age adults and retired volunteers are also really keen to build new skills and explore different areas of the theatre. So our plan is to partner with established colleges and training providers to offer accredited qualifications so that learning here isn't just informal. It can be, but we want it to be more than that as well. And it's something people can build a future on. We want to open up all aspects of our operations to learners, whether that's on stage, backstage, hospitality, admin or marketing, so that people can gain real hands-on experience of a working theatre. To support this, we're prioritising fundraising to invest in a volunteer coordinator post, so the post that Sarah outlined on the aspirational staff instructor. And they'll come with a dedicated budget for an initial 3-year period. So this role will lead on developing the volunteering programme and kickstart the strand of work in a really meaningful and sustainable way. And finally, we want to open up our spaces to much more widely to local schools, creating new opportunities for young people to get behind the scenes and experience the full range of what theatre can offer. Okay, so all of that, AI reduced to, by becoming a learning theatre, we aim to offer development opportunities across all areas, partnering with colleges for accredited qualifications and opening up spaces for local schools with dedicated investment in a volunteer coordinator to lead this initiative. It's not quite a long sentence, isn't it? Anyway, that's what AI says. And final slide, Jacob, please. Okay, and then this is just expanding on some of the bullet points Jacob had at the beginning. So again, another exciting, this is quite daunting as an ambition, but something I think we should be working towards without a doubt. So we want to become a green theatre. So part of our plans to extend the building, we've got a huge opportunity to completely overhaul the way we think about our environmental impact and to really lead the way in sustainable theatre practice. So our vision is to move towards becoming an off-grid theatre, as Jacob mentioned, the first in the country, the world, in Guiseley. Who knew? Achieving net zero emissions. That means seriously investing in renewable technologies like solar panels, battery storage, wind power, a living roof, a heat source pump, and installing double glazing throughout the building. We're going to use the Theatre Green Book as a guide, so that provides a bit of a framework, doesn't it, in terms of step-by-step working towards things like this. It's a brilliant industry resource developed specifically to help theatres make sustainable choices across productions, buildings and operations. We know we've got a long way to go with this. It's a really big ambition and we're right at the start of that journey. It's also going to need serious investment to kickstart and accelerate these practices. But we believe it's absolutely the right direction, embedding sustainability into everything we do and not treating it as a side project, but building it into the very DNA of the theatre. This is about making sure we're not only protecting our environment, but also securing a strong, resilient future for the theatre itself. Okay, so do you want the AI version? Yeah. Okay, all of that could have been said in, we're committed to becoming a green theatre with plans to overhaul our building and operation towards sustainability. And we know that getting there will require investment and time. Okay, so it's in your hands, me or AI. Those are the things that I think are really particularly exciting in the plan and the things we really would like to make happen. And I suppose the overarching thing behind all of that is to do that. We're at the point, I think Jacob and Lucy and the team have done as much as they possibly can with the resource and the time and their sort of human efforts that they can, and we now need to seriously fundraise and access some of the core funding that's on offer from charitable trusts and foundations to really sort of give some of those new posts some time to make some of these plans possible and to happen. So thank you, and thanks to AI.
Okay, right, we're nearly there, guys, I promise. Finances. Okay, those of you who know me will know numbers are not my bag. Which is why we have got our secret weapon, Paul. Paul is a mathematical mastermind, can do sums in his head. Paul looks after our day-to-day finances. He keeps an eye on our books. He is projecting what we're going to be making accurately. He is in charge of budgeting. Paul is our secret weapon. He knows this building's finances inside and out. And whenever we've got a project, I'll go, Paul, can we do this? And he'll go, yes, or no. Or, yes, but you've got to find the money. Guys, there's.org/2025 is what I'm saying. Paul said this the other day, and I wrote it down. We are showing a 10% compound growth year on year. Is that correct, Paul? Yes, fantastic. Which means, thank you. We're going in the right direction. We are growing as a company. We are looking to funds and grants and trusts or major funding on which a cap is essential for. There is no point us applying for money more than £15,000 unless we have got a longer than 25-year lease, because they won't take us seriously. They might be like, you're not going to be in the building in 7 years' time. In reality, we are going to be, but we need a piece of paper that says that. So in 2022, our turnover was £53,000. In 24-25, is that correct, Paul? We are looking at £115,000 turnover. That's turnover, not profits. So you can see there, just from the accounts, the building's getting busier. It's getting well used. It's going in the right direction. We are generating the money. Paul is making sure that we are spending it wisely. It's also worth noting, it costs about £6,500 a month just to run the building. Is that correct? Yes. Phew, I don't know why. It's an expensive building to run. It is an old building, it is a busy building. We've got to generate £6,500 before we can ever think of making profit there. So what I'm saying is, we are heading in the right direction. We are doing well. Paul is making sure that we are doing well, and I'm very excited about the future. If you want more details on the finances, rather than relying on my limited understanding of it, it is in the booklets, which Paul wrote that section. Paul, yes?
Can I just say, if anybody else can do maths, they will know that going from 53,000 to 115,000 isn't 10% compound growth, it's much more than that. We are projecting 10%.
Okay, thank you. We're projecting 10% compound. I thought I sounded so clever then. So we're doing better than 10% now. There you go, guys. Paul's a wizard.
I haven't done it.
You written it down. So I wanted to touch on finances. There isn't much I can expand on more than what is in that booklet, but we're heading in the right direction. We're not saying we're going to spend millions and millions and millions of pounds and not aware that we need to generate millions and millions of pounds or apply for millions and millions of pounds. We have got somebody who is financially responsible, and that person is Paul. I'm very good at spending money. Thank you. So, moving on. We've got big plans, basically. Getting the cat is key to getting some money, and that money will help us develop what we've got now, this building here. Once we've got what we need for this building, our plan is to extend the building and make it bigger. In 2035, it is our aim that you would walk through these two fire escapes into a beautiful, lush building that has got a lift. It's got more bar facilities, rehearsal rooms, studio theatres, workshops, office space, rather than a cupboard, was it? Toilets, more than 6 toilets between 300 people. At the back, on the table, the long table, we've got blueprints that we have designed, roughly, of what we hope it might look like. I'm not saying that in 2035 that is what the building will look like, because I'm not an architect. But these are just ideas. When we get to the point where we're talking to architects, we'll bring these plans and say, this is what we were thinking, and they will go, well, for starters, you've not got any windows in. So there's the same amount of land at the rear of the building as we currently have here. It's currently got a yard, it's got a yard, a workshop and an old war bunker. Their main use is storage and parking at the moment. We want to flatten that, build new, and really utilise that space. Every time we have a frustration in the building, we imagine a solution and adapt the plans. So at the moment, if there is a full show on and downstairs is being used as dressing rooms, you cannot get from the office to the bar without going outside the building, and that's only if the doors are open. It's just, the building was not designed to be a theatre, it is not, it was a town hall. We're thinking, okay, how can you make it a building? So, simple things like a corridor are revolutionary in 2035, just so that we can get around the building whilst it's in use. Obviously, significant funding needed. Significant funding needed will not come unless we have the CAT. So that is the plan there. Obviously, all of this is subject to planning permission, and we would need consent from the City Council because they would still own the building. We would just be leasing it. And I should stress at the moment, we are not talking to the City Council about the extension yet. Our main focus is just extending the lease. We just want to focus on that because we don't want to get bogged down in, well, what are you going to do about this and this? We just want the lease. Once we've got the lease, then we'll be like, oh, and we are in a position to start thinking about extending. We'll go to them and say, hey, this is our plans. And I don't think there'll be much objection to it. So at the back is, and in the booklets actually, booklets have got annotated drawings. At the back is a larger print, so that it gives you a bit more context. So, okay, I'm going to fly through this. We have taken our aims, the aims of the company that I went through right at the very beginning, and we've divided those into 4 objectives. So we are focusing on these objectives to try and get the aims achieved, basically. So our objective 1 is to continue operate the theatre as a community asset, applying for a community asset transfer to secure the long-term sustainability of developing and operating the building. And this is working towards company name. What? 2, I think. Company 02. It's in the booklet. Objective number 2, we want to develop the theatre building to be more accessible, with increased front of house facilities, to improve community access and for use of a wider range of groups. And we want to develop the theatre building to be more modern, with up-to-date technical and staging infrastructure to provide industry standard facilities for staging performances. And what we find at the moment is that people will arrive to put on a performance and they will look at the fire escape and think, have I got to pull all of that up those stairs? Yes, unfortunately you do. We'll have a lift. Something simple as that. Objective number 3 is to increase community engagement and involvement, creating a cultural hub. I would say we are already doing that. But our doors are closed unless the room is booked. I'm hoping a cafe will just open all of that up. We're guided by the objectives, and we see everything in this booklet as being achievable and realistic. Ambitious, yes, but nothing in there is like, that's not possible, this pie in the sky thinking. Everything in there is 100% achievable if we've got the right people and the right funding behind us. It's incredibly detailed for the next 3 years. After that, in 3 years' time, we'll be able to predict the next 3 years and so on and so on. But we've got a vision of where we want to be in 10 years' time.
So, we just finished sharing our plan. It's gone down really well. It's been really encouraging to see people get excited about things that we've been keeping secret. It's been really exciting to see people engage and buy into the plans that we've got for the building, and everybody seems really on board with our plans for the next 10 years. It's going to be an intense 10 years, but hopefully this place is going to be the absolute hub of the community, a place for creativity, and this is the start of it. I'm very excited, and so is everybody here.